And so while you're sitting in your easy seat here, the affirmation that I'm going to encourage you to turn to if the thoughts ever seem to start drifting away is I live in the present moment. Again, just thinking I live in the present moment. Really simple, but really powerful few words to anchor you into your practice today. As you're sitting here, we're just going to begin to maneuver into our next pose, which is going to be a Baddha Konasana. So in other words, some people call it butterfly, some people call it bound angle pose. Essentially, you're just bringing the soles of the feet together. And you're going to find a little bit more sensation maybe by bringing the feet closer to the body, bringing the feet farther away, do whatever serves you. If you're living in a tighter hip space, you can place some blocks or some pillows underneath the knees. And we're going to gently begin to fold forward. And I'm going to give you a few options here. So option one, you can just gently begin to fold forward, placing the forearms on the ground, maybe palms facing up. Something I like to do, option two, is I like to take my forearms underneath my legs. I just hope that finds me, or that allows me to lengthen through the spine a little bit more. And if you want to place a pillow for your chest to rest on or anything like that, please feel free. We're going to stay here for about 3 minutes. Our affirmation for our Baddha Konasana is going to be, I'm guided by my inner wisdom. I'm guided by my inner wisdom. Beginning to close off the eyes. Deeply inhaling and exhaling. I'm guided by my inner wisdom. Beautiful. From wherever you are, maybe taking the hands to the knees and just starting to lift them up. Maybe if you need a moment, just stretching the legs out in front of you and just bending one knee at a time to release any deep sensation that might have incurred in the body. We're going to make our way into Komakasana. In other words, our shoelace pose, or some people call it half cow face pose. So what you're going to do is you're basically going to stack the knees. So you'll bend your left knee, taking the foot to the side of you, and then bend the right knee, stacking the knee on top. Left foot comes to the right side. And what you want to do is anchor both sit bones pretty firmly into the ground. And we're going to add a sort of eagle arms to this pose so that we're not only stretching out the lower body, but also in the shoulders and the upper body where we find we hold a lot of tension. So you're going to take your arms in front of you and you're going to bring the right arm underneath the left. And then see if you can create another bind, taking the palms together into your eagle arms. And if this feels good, if you'd like to stay here, feel free. But if you're looking for maybe just a little bit more sensation, gently begin to fold your way forward, hinging from the hip creases. And for this side, our affirmation is, I believe in what I know is true. Maybe beginning to close the eyes, looking inwards again. I believe what I know is true. And if you're finding it a little bit challenging to really sit with the discomfort, the sensations, maybe just sitting with the quiet of the mind, just noticing, not judging. I believe in what I know is true. Gently starting to unwrap the arms, maybe walking the chest back upwards, uncrossing the legs. Just take a second to bring the feet about hips width apart and just windshield wiper the legs from left to right. Just let go of that sensation. And once you feel good, we're going to take the opposite cross of the legs. I think I just did. Losing my mind here. Taking, I believe, the left leg underneath and the right leg on top. So again, you've got the feet pressed at the sides. And if I'm giving you the wrong direction, just feeling free to use your intuition to switch the cross of the legs. So this time we're going to take the arms in front of us and you're going to bring the opposite side underneath. So I think the left arm under the right, again, losing my brain today. So just take the opposite of what you took last time. Maybe binding the hands together. Just gently beginning to fold forward. And if you want a little bit of a modification, you can always prop a pillow underneath the chest if you don't want to go down so low for discomfort in the shoulders. That's completely fine. And just slowly make your way into whatever variation of the pose feels good for you. Our affirmation this time is going to be, I express my truth with confidence. I express my truth with confidence. Maybe beginning to close the eyes, look inwards. If you're still having a little bit of trouble quieting the mind, quieting the chatter, sometimes in yoga we call it chitta vritti, these mental fluctuations. I also find it helpful to really gaze into the center of the eyes when they're closed and just look at any colors or any movement you find. Sometimes that can ground you back into the present moment. Again, our affirmation, I express my truth with confidence. And from your forward fold, beginning to unravel the arms, making your way up. Again, unwrapping the legs, taking the feet about hips width apart, place the hands behind you, and again, just begin to windshield, wipe the legs from left to right. Maybe bending and straightening the legs, whatever helps you relieve any tension. We're going to start to make our way into a forward fold here, not a forward fold, a child's pose, balasana. So I encourage you to take the variation that feels right for you. You can open the knees nice and wide and bring the feet to touch, or you can keep a pretty narrow legged child's pose. It really depends on the openness in your hip space. But again, just remembering that in yin, we are focusing with a little bit of discomfort. So from wherever you are, just beginning to walk the hands forward, stretching them out in front of you and just gently pressing the forehead into the mat. And our affirmation here is, I trust my intuition. I trust my intuition. Gently closing the eyes. Focusing on the breath. I trust my intuition. Really allowing yourself to melt into the earth. Maybe visualizing any negative energy melting out of the body and taking in positive energy from the points of contact you're making with the earth. From wherever you are, gently walking the hands up again towards the body, slowly making your way out of your child's pose. Maybe taking the legs out in front of you. Again, I just find it really comfortable to windshield wipe the legs after a little bit of a hip opener. Do whatever feels good for you. We're going to come into some spinal twists, supine spinal twists. So you're going to drop the back onto the floor, maybe just take the knees into the chest and give them a quick hug. And you're going to take the hands into a cactus or a T. Just gently begin to allow your legs to drop over to the right side of the mat. And I'm going to give you a couple options here. You can gaze over the left. Something you can do instead of just this regular spinal twist is you can, trying to think of how to explain. So we're going to do cat's pulling its tail if you'd like. So you can begin to take the left knee, keeping it where it is, but pulling that right knee a little bit behind the body, staying in your spinal twist. And you can reach back with the left hand and maybe take a grab onto the foot and pull it towards you. That's going to provide just a little bit of a quad stretch to add to your spinal twist. Otherwise, if that's unclear, you can always just keep the legs stacked, gazing over the left shoulder. And here we're going to think, I'm grounded and I'm centered. Closing the eyes, I'm grounded and I'm centered. I'm grounded and I'm centered. And you're slowly going to make your way back through center. Again, taking a nice big hug of the knees. And we're going to perform the same pose on the other side, letting the knees drop over to the left. Again, you can keep it like this and just gaze over your right shoulder and your spinal twist. You can begin to pull that bottom leg, the left leg, and take the right hand holding onto the toes. That's our cat pulling its tail. And our affirmation in this pose is just going to be that who I am is enough. Who I am is enough. Really letting those words sink into your consciousness that who I am is enough. And beginning to make your way back through center. Out of your twist, again, maybe just hugging the knees into the chest, maybe just rocking from side to side. We're going to make our way into our final resting pose. So maybe taking any final stretches or movements, maybe a happy baby if that feels good for you. Whatever feels right. Otherwise, the rest of us are just going to let the legs drop out in front of us, allowing the feet to flap to either side. Let the hands drop to either side of you, palms facing upwards. Begin to close the eyes. Maybe taking a quick scan through the body, just giving every single part of your system the opportunity to just release, melt into the ground. Dropping the focus from the breath and anything else. Quiet mind, quiet body, Shavasana. Maybe from your Shavasana, just slowly beginning to wiggle out through the fingers and toes. Really making slow movements, really taking your time. Maybe you reach the arms overhead and stretch through the body. Maybe roll over to one side, your right or your left. Eventually, but really slowly finding your way into a comfortable seat. But also knowing if you'd like to stay in your Shavasana, you can stay there all day. Those of us who might have made it up to our seat, maybe taking the hands to heart center. The light in me recognizes, honors, and loves the light in you. Thank you so much for sharing space with me today. Namaste. So thank you again. Again, that was our yin practice today, which was a lot more slower, a bit more grounded. Maybe that was a unique and relaxing experience for you. I've posted our schedule for the rest of my classes. Next week I'll be off because of our mock trial competition, but the week after we'll be doing a vinyasa flow, which is actually my personal favorite. It'll be a lot faster, linking movement to breath, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you so much, Rosemary, Emily. Thank you, everyone who attended today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.